What started as a lesson in the classroom turned into a blood-soaked hunt, where one teacher had to fight his own students to survive. The school bell rang just 5 minutes after the start-off recess. Students were told that riots had broken out in the streets, so classes were canceled and everyone had to get home immediately. Tensions were high. Local residents were blaming Indonesians of Chinese descent for the economic decline and rising crime. "There are Chinese here. Get out, pigs!" The mob shouted. The bus was surrounded by a frenzied crowd. Armed men stormed inside and dragged Edwin and his sister out. Sylvie, who dressed like a punk, tried to fight back, and a boy attempted to protect her. "Are you Chinese, too?" one of the men demanded. "No, sir." "Then why are you protecting them?" The boy's hand was slashed before he was shoved away. Edwin rushed to help his sister, but he was struck on the head and knocked unconscious. When he woke up, his sister was gone. To avoid being recognized as Chinese, he smeared soot on his face and ran home, only to find his house burned down, with his parents inside. 18 years later, in 2027, hatred toward the Chinese still lingered. Only a small part of the population supported equality. By then, Edwin had grown up, hiding his face under a cap and working as a teacher. But in just 2 years, he had already been forced to change schools 5 times. Eventually, he was hired at a school for troubled teenagers, not because they wanted him, but because the other teachers had already fled. The students there were unruly, and for a teacher of Chinese descent, the challenge was even greater. "Good morning. I'm your new homeroom teacher. Take your seats." One student sneered. "I bet it's Tien, Juno, or something like that." Jeffrey, the main bully, called him a clown, but Edwin quickly put him in his place. He introduced himself as the new art teacher. When a piece of debris was thrown at him, Edwin dismissed it as the work of some coward hiding in the crowd. During recess, another teacher, Diana, asked how his first day had gone. "Not too bad," Edwin replied. But after school, the bullies cornered a Chinese man on the road, smashed his car, and beat him mercilessly. That evening, Edwin stopped by a Chinese bar for a drink and exchanged glances with a lively barmaid. On his way home, he witnessed a group of Chinese youths beating up a young Indonesian in an underpass. Edwin stepped in to protect him and realized the boy was one of his own students. Later, Edwin remembered a painful conversation with his sister. Sylvie had survived that horrific day, but was left seriously ill. After the assault, she gave birth to a son, but she had no idea where he was now. She begged her brother to find him. Meanwhile, the bullies are enraged that one of their classmates had been attacked by Chinese, and they are determined to take revenge. Edwin gave his students an assignment: draw something of their choice. Jeffrey, of course, refused to cooperate. He wanted to beat up that Chinese guy instead. "What are you waiting for?" Edwin challenged. "If you attack a teacher in school, you'll be expelled." After school, the bullies gathered at an abandoned construction site. In the trunk of a car lay a beaten and bound Chinese man. Laughing and joking, the students dragged him upstairs as revenge for Christ's humiliation earlier. They continued to beat the man and then locked him inside one of the rooms, planning to toy with him whenever they got bored, and maybe feed him if they felt like it. Meanwhile, Diana invited Edwin back to the Chinese bar. The barmaid clearly disliked having to observe Indonesians, and the tension in the air was obvious. Suddenly, the music in the bar was cut off for a news broadcast. Reports warned that tensions in society were rising again, dangerously close to the kind of riots that had happened 18 years earlier. After leaving, Edwin and Diana debated who was more at risk walking home at night, the woman or the Chinese man. In the end, it turned out to be Edwin. He was ambushed in the dark by a masked attacker. It was Jeffrey. His gang sat waiting in a car nearby. Jeffrey pulled out a knife, but in his reckless attempt to stab, he ended up cutting himself instead. Bleeding, he scrambled into the car and fled with his friends. The next day, Edwin reported the attack to the principal. Jeffrey denied everything, but the wound gave him away. "Pull up your pant leg," Edwin demanded. Jeffrey's legs were covered with scars, not only from the fight, but from years of abuse by his own father. Despite this, his guilt was undeniable. The decision was made. Jeffrey would be expelled. For the first time in 10 years, Jeffrey's gang staged a full boycott. Walking out of Edwin's class, still determined, Edwin asked Christ and his friend to help him decorate the classroom. Unlike the others, these two seemed like decent kids, but Jeffrey, obsessed with revenge, wasn't about to let things go. That evening, the boys kept their promise and showed up to help decorate. Diana was already there. The security guards heard on the news that riots were breaking out in their area, so they abandoned the school and went home. That was exactly what the young sadists wanted. They were thrilled that they could attack the Chinese openly in the streets without consequence. Jeffrey waited for reinforcements. The whole gang armed themselves with bladed weapons and stormed the school grounds. Dodie locked the doors. Ranga spotted them and warned the others about the danger. The thugs prowled the hallways, searching for the teacher. Edwin hoped they could escape through the emergency exit, but it was locked at the last moment. The four of them managed to barricade themselves inside the gym. There was no point in expecting help from the police. They were already busy dealing with the riots. Edwin wanted to go out and face the thugs, but the others stopped him. "They'll kill you." "Why?" "They've already killed someone." Jeffrey murdered a classmate who had been reported missing and even recorded the execution in video. It was true, but for now, they couldn't prove it. "They only want me," Edwin said. Meanwhile, Rona's father, worried about his son, came to the school. The teenage thugs let the man in and led him straight to the gym. Ranga begged her father to run, but it was too late. The gang began to beat him, threatening to rip out his guts. One of the bullies, Shane, hesitated that he thought they had gone too far, but suddenly Gary grabbed a pencil and began slowly stabbing Abdu. "This is nothing compared to what you did," he hissed. "It wasn't me. All parents are the same." Edwin tried to calm the leader down, but it only made him angrier. The teacher insisted he would only come out if the rest of the hostages were allowed to leave the school safely. The thugs pretended to agree and backed away from the door, but it was a trick. Edwin dragged the injured man back inside the gym. Rhonda was furious with the teacher. They could have escaped, but Edwin couldn't bring himself to trust the gang that "No. Our deal is still on. Jeff, I'm going out. I don't trust you. There's nothing more we can do but leave. Trust me." The thugs stepped back from the door again. Ranga and her father were the first to leave. Edwin told them to unlock the gym from the parking lot once they got out. True to their word, the two of them weren't harmed. Jeffrey tried to rush the gym, but Edwin quickly locked the door again. 15 tense minutes passed. Ranga still hadn't opened the door, and his father never came out. "What makes you think they've been gone a long time?" "No, they're still here." He was right. Ranga and his father had been taken hostage again. Jeffrey ordered Ryan to fetch a can of gasoline. Just then, the police pulled up outside the school and spotted Ryan siphoning fuel from a car. They started questioning him, but before anything could happen, the officers were suddenly called away to assist with the riots. Inside, Abdu was forced to his knees. Jeffrey threatened Edwin. If he didn't come out into the hallway within 5 seconds, he would burn Ranga's father alive. The bastard counted down and carried out his threat. The man was set on fire and burned to death in front of his own son. Shocked and horrified, Ranga leapt to his feet and sprinted for the exit, but the door was still locked. 2 thugs armed with vices chased after him. The boy fought back, but Harry tore his stomach open with the vice. Sin broke down crying. Jeffrey quickly realized he was the weak link in their gang, too soft, maybe even willing to betray them. Meanwhile, Edwin confessed to Diana that he had never wanted to be a teacher. His sister had died 2 years earlier, and he only started working in schools to search for her missing son. Today, he admitted, "I brought Christ here to find out if he's really her child." Then Edwin noticed a beam of light on the floor. He realized they could crawl through a hole into the abandoned restroom. Climbing into the ventilation shaft, he pressed forward at the same time. Sin asked the gang if he could use the bathroom. Jeff and Gary followed him, their expressions dark. Edwin crawled into the men's restroom. Just as Sin entered, the teacher hid in one of the stalls while Sin sat on the toilet trying to gather his thoughts. Suddenly, Jeffrey burst in and hacked his so-called friend to pieces with Amiki. "Why did you kill him?" "I thought he just wanted to take a piss." The others grew tense. When they saw Sin's remains, they realized how screwed they really were. Their lives were dangling by a thread. Edwin reached the security post and found the key to the emergency exit. Meanwhile, Jeffrey began pounding on the gym doors, demanding the teacher show himself. One of the thugs suggested breaking down the door with a torch from the chemistry room. To their surprise, it worked. But when the gang stormed the gym, it was empty. Diana and Christos had already escaped through the ventilation shaft. Furious, Jeffrey ordered his lackeys to split up and search every corner of the school. The fugitives hid in the biology room. 2 of the thugs argued over Sin's death. Sin deserved it. He was a nerd, a coward, that doesn't mean he should have been hacked apart by his own friend. Meanwhile, Edwin handed Diana the emergency exit key and told her and Christos to run. While he was distracting the students, two boys spotted him in the hallway. The teacher tried to calm them down and suggested they come to their senses, but they ignored him and attacked the man. Edwin was forced to stab one of them in the stomach with a large bone. Enraged, the boy's friend lunged at Edwin and tried to strangle him. Edwin grabbed a blowtorch and burned his face, taking down both thugs. The teacher ran into Gary and tried to comfort him, but Gary suddenly rushed at the man. The teacher threw him over his shoulder, knocking him down, and shouted for him to drop the pig. Diana told Christ that Edwin saw him as a nephew, but Christ insisted that was impossible. After waiting a bit, they made their way down the emergency stairs. Edwin finally came across the main hallway. Talking was pointless. The enemies stormed into the restroom at full speed. Jeffrey smashed the teacher with a barrel lid and then bashed his head against a urinal. Their struggle spilled back into the corridor, where Edwin twisted the boy down, but his screams drew the others. Edwin told them they should just leave. Unlike Jeffrey, they still had a future point. One by one, the students dropped their weapons and ran off. Jeffrey, however, only grew more furious. He staggered to his feet, bit the teacher, broke his finger, then started kicking him and tried to strangle him again. In the end, Edwin shoved Jeffrey away, and the boy accidentally impaled his own neck on acrobar. Despite everything, the teacher still felt pity for him, even for someone so cruel. Outside, a rioting crowd broke into the school grounds, looting anything valuable they could find. From there, Edwin finally watched the video of Jeffrey executing a classmate. Jeffrey had mocked him by calling him Chinese, but in the recording, the boy admitted that his mother really was Chinese and his fathers were a gang of rapists. At that moment, Edwin realized the truth. Jeffrey was his sister's lost son, the very boy he had been searching for over the past 2 years. Meanwhile, the rioters noticed a Chinese man among them and chased him. Edwin was saved at the last moment by a man in a car. That man was Ponca, now an adult. 18 years earlier, he had been unable to save Sylvie Sunno. He roamed the city, rescuing Chinese people in danger. All of Jakarta was engulfed in brutal riots. But in the chaos, a little boy free of prejudice found a locked-up Chinese man and saved his life. What began as a simple lesson spiraled into a nightmare of blood, vengeance, and survival. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another story.